in January the 22nd, I guess the Lord had me in the right place, the right time, with the right commitment. I was president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And then we had agreed that, and I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed, after they signed their names to a petition, that we were going to march as a teacher group. And so on January 22nd, we met at Clark Elementary School here, which was the school where I attended the first grade through the sixth grade. We met upstairs, and we marched up a file. My partner was my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade science teacher. His name was Mr. A.J. Durgan. He was the incoming president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And we led that march, teachers, for the first time in the United States, coming down the steps of Clark Elementary School, down Lawn Street, down to Alabama Avenue, down to the courthouse. Teachers for the first time. Getting down to the county courthouse, that was standing next to the steps the superintendent of education, the chairman of the board of education, to persuade me, because I was a teacher, to take the teachers back to the school because we had made a point, and that no longer should we try to pursue that right from that particular point. And I told them we had a right to be at the county courthouse. It was our courthouse. We were not backing down from our right to be there. And I asked the superintendent and the chairman of the board, who signed my check, to step aside. We went up those steps. Jim Clark had his deputies across the door, and he indicated that we were trying to make a mockery out of his courthouse. And we indicated to him that that was our courthouse also. He gave us 1 minute to move off of those steps. At the expiration of that minute, he took the billy club and jabbed us down the steps on the sidewalk. And my partner, Mr. A.J. Durgan, who, as I said, was my teacher, he was not quite used to that stuff like I was. And he asked me on the ground, he said, "What shall we do?" I said, "We are going back." He said, Yeah. And so we went back the second time. We jabbed down the steps after a minute, and he asked me the same question. I gave him the same answer, and he gave me the same response. The third time we went, I really was trying to get all the teachers arrested because teachers were not aware of the tremendous influence. They were the largest black professional group here in Dallas County. And so after going back the third time, he said, "If you don't go up these steps," Jim Clark said, "we're going to arrest you." I said to myself, "Exactly what I want you to do." And so at the about 45 seconds before that minute expired, someone on the inside of the courthouse came and pulled him on the inside of the courthouse door and said, I didn't go in there with him, but I can imagine what they told him. "For goodness sake, don't arrest those teachers."
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you out to Thursday. It's a great Thursday. We're here again. Lineage Podcast. Me and bro, here for another week. Now, we got special guests. Of course, we got I'm not gonna give away who the special guest is as of yet. Um, we ain't gonna get that away yet. We're gonna have to surprise y'all a little bit with that. But
I think I gave it away early.
oh yeah, you sure did. That's right. You already gave it away, bro. Um, but this person here has, when I say a lot of hats, that is an understatement. So we gonna bring her in a little later. First, let's handle business. If you do not have the book, Selma Self-Sacrifice, you have to get that book. That book is it's the autobiography of Mr. Frederick D. Reese, Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. I got to put some respect on his titles. Yeah, but if it's just not about our grandfather. His story should be heard around the world. A fatherless man didn't know his father until the day of his father's funeral. Let's not even talk about all the accomplishments he made. The biggest accomplishment was the voting rights movement. That's just in a nutshell. And I know sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow. I've had a couple of conversations of people that just didn't believe me. And good thing Granddaddy was in a few pictures here and there. We had some documents to, how they say we got receipts. Good thing that we have obtained some of those things, so it always helps. And this is a big journey that we are embarking on, me and bro. But I will say we have help along the way. And one of our guests today, is one of the trailblazers that has helped us and that is continuing to help us in this quest.
That's right.
Frederick D. Reese name
That's right.
on the national level where it belongs. We got a good show today. Last week, we started the scenes of silent superstars. We are trying to give flowers and give props to the people that are overlooked in the not only in the community, but people that have done things that, because it's not in a big national level, it has been overlooked and undervalued. And it has and lo and behold, our grandfather is one of them. So we are in a peculiar position, and we understand firsthand how it feels to be overlooked because it's on our bloodline. It's just simple as that. But if you also, let's handle some more business. If you haven't booked the FD Reese historical tour, you have to do that. You can go to fdreesefoundation.org and book through that. It's a great tour. Me and my brother host that tour. We start you in the house and we take you around Selma, the places that Reverend FD Reese impacted. He had his hands, he had his fingerprints all in the movement, man. That's just an understatement. We have the first nurse, Kimberly Reese. Now listen, y'all. Now listen. She been giving us jewels. She been helping us getting our health together. She been telling us the signs and symptoms of certain things. The silent killer was a high blood pressure cancer. See, look at that. I'm learning.
You're learning, bro.
We learned that last week. The silent killer was high blood pressure, and let's be honest, a lot of us have it because we like that good old soul food. We can't let it go.
Let me tell you what happened.
Go ahead, bro.
Went to Grips yesterday, right?
With the Grips, okay.
And we walk up in Grips. He said he'd go to the black community nurse coming in Grips when we walked in. That was Brown said.
Yeah, Brown said,
yeah. Said, taking care of the black community with
yeah, and what I do know, sometimes we don't like to hear about our health, and a lot of the times it's because we know we have things going on within ourselves.
That's
and
right.
Sometimes we don't like to hear the truth.
That's right.
So it is needed for first nurse Kimberly Reese to be on the podcast, because you're gonna go to the doctor one day and the doctor gonna say, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, you have this. And guess what you're gonna say? I remember on that podcast, first nurse Kimberly Reese told this is a sign, and I didn't listen 5-6 months ago. And now look at here I am, doc.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So you never know what impact you may have. So the work is needed. Sometimes it's overlooked, but it's needed.
Yeah, that's right, man.
Yeah. Book the tour. Am I missing some? We still getting hits on the pair that is under construction. Bro, talking to them folks, man, is
and the podcast is under construction too.
Yeah, podcast under construction. You see,
a whole new program is gonna look totally different in a couple of weeks. So.
Yeah, we're trying to get it, and we appreciate y'all joining us. We gonna get back now. We've been letting y'all slide a little bit on getting the subscribers. Okay,
that's right.
We've been letting y'all slide. We ain't been pushing it, but we finna come back full force. Subscribe and hit the notification bell on YouTube. If you are not on YouTube, looking at this right now, get off of Facebook and go on YouTube.
Get off of Instagram.
Get off of Instagram.
Get off of Twitch.
Get off all that.
All of them.
And go on the Lineage Podcast on YouTube and view it from there. Help a brother out.
Please do.
Please do. Okay. So we got that out the way. We're gonna take a little break. We're gonna come back and do you want to talk about? No, we got to handle business first, because first nurse got to come in and give us her presentation on this, because she gonna help us out. And she sent me some information, and I'm intrigued to hear what she has to say about this. So give us 30 seconds. We're gonna come back And without further ado, first nurse, Miss Kimberly Reese, she gonna set us straight today on the health tip. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Look how quick that was, man. You know what? Let me put some respect right quick, Kim. You sitting under your husband name or whatever. Let me put some. I gotta put some respect on your name.
Okay.
I gotta put some respect on your name. Let's do it like that. Okay.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. You know, we're gonna do it right. This is first nurse, Miss Kimberly Reese.
Hello, everyone.
She is here to give us our health tip. So what are we learning? I'm not gonna say what are we talking about today. I'm gonna say this. What are we learning today?
Okay, so I'm gonna start by today. Well, we are in the month of September. As you guys know, in September, I don't know if you guys know, but it's Blood Cancer Awareness Month.
Okay.
Therefore, the topic of discussion for today will be about the different types of blood cancer. According to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, every 3 minutes, someone in the U.S. is diagnosed with a blood cancer. More than 1.3 million Americans are living with or in remission from a blood cancer. So the question is, what is blood cancer and how it affects the body? Blood cancer affects the function of blood cells. Most of the time, the blood cancer begins in the bone marrow, where the blood cells are created. I have a picture of the bone marrow.
Show
There we
that.
go. This is a picture of the blood cell formation. Normally, the stem cells in the bone marrow develop in 3 kinds of blood cells. You have your platelets, you have your red blood cells, and you have your white blood cells. The purpose of platelets, it prevents bleeding and it helps your blood to clot. Your red blood cells, it transports oxygen, and your white blood cells helps to fight against infection. So in this picture, you see your red blood cells. That's the top, and then in the middle you have your white blood cells. The white blood cells, those are your neutrophils, your lymphocytes, your monocytes. Again, that helps with fighting infection. And then down you have your platelets. So if you get a cut on your finger, the platelets is what helps your blood clots. The bone marrow, which is that long bone right on the side, which is the bone marrow. That's a soft, spongy tissue. Those are located in your large bones, such as your sternum, your pelvic girdle, or your femur. That's where your bone marrow is. And of course, the number one function of bone marrow produces the blood cells. And when blood cancer occurs, it affects either your red blood cells, your white blood cells, or your platelets. That means that your body can't transport oxygen like it should, or it can't fight off infection, or you are not able to stop clotting or bleeding. You're not able to clot. So when the blood cancer happens, that's what it affects: the red, white, or white blood cells or your platelets. It depends on what type of cancer it is. So as you guys know, I'm a hemophoresis nurse. I work at Emory. And the main type of blood cancers that we see in our team is leukemia, lymphoma, and multiple myeloma. Leukemia, it's a type of cancer that affects the white blood cells. Yeah, there you go. And the leukemia, it's when too many white blood cells are made, and then it affects the production of red blood cells. Leukemia researchers believe that most leukemia cases are a result of a mutation in the DNA of blood cells. And the signs and symptoms of leukemia, as you see in the picture, you have fever, frequent infections, fatigue, enlarged spleen or liver. You have night sweats, bone pain or tenderness, and you have easy bruising, and also nosebleed. So you see a normal picture of the blood. You see normally you have the normal distribution of the red blood cells and the white blood cells. In leukemia, the white blood cells are taking over the red blood cells. It's too many production of white blood cells.
Gotcha.
And then, as you see on the treatment, you can either do the chemo, radiation, or stem cell collection, and that's where we come in at.
Gotcha.
So the other type of cancer is lymphoma. I have a picture of lymphoma.
Okay.
Okay, so lymphoma, as I mentioned, is a type of blood cancer. Lymphoma affects the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system creates immune cells and removes excess fluid from the body. Like leukemia, there are several types of lymphoma, such as non-Hodgkin lymphoma, cutaneous T-cell lymphomas. The signs and symptoms of lymphoma is painless swelling of the lymph nodes in your groin, your armpit, or your neck, night sweats, fever, and shortness of breath. I have another picture of the lymphoma. As you see, it's a node. Like if you having swelling under your in your neck area, definitely get that checked out. That could be a sign of a type of blood cancer, which is lymphoma.
Wow.
Individuals who have a compromised immune system for disease or are on immunosuppressant drugs are more likely to develop lymphoma. And the most important cancer that I want to discuss, especially for the African American community, is multiple myeloma. Multiple myeloma, it forms in the white blood cells and plasma cells. These cancer cells create abnormal proteins that can cause complication in the body. The signs and symptoms are anemia, bone pain and fracture, excessive bleeding, high levels of calcium, kidney problems, and numbness. Um, According to the recent studies, African Americans are at higher risk for multiple myeloma. Although it is rare, it's a rare blood cancer. Multiple myeloma is an aggressive and rapidly progressive illness that causes certain white blood cells that are normally responsible for combating illness to be overproduced. Um, so I have a picture of African American males. They are saying that multiple myeloma in African American males are blacks are at greater risk for having multiple myeloma. So the question is why blacks are more at risk for developing this particular cancer. Some researchers say that it may be due to certain socioeconomic levels, diet habits, and certain occupations or environmental factors. In addition, some research suggests that blacks are less likely to be in bone marrow or stem cell donors and are less likely to participate in clinical trials.
Mm.
So to get tested for these particular cancers, these tests that you can get are CBC, which is known as the counts of your blood cells. Also a test that looks at the blood proteins in your body, and a test to find chemicals made by cancer cells, also known as tumor markers. Causes of blood cancer includes advanced aging, being a male, smoking, and exposure to high doses of radiation. Um, Also, let me see, the treatments of blood cancer is chemotherapy, radiation, and stem cell transplant. As I mentioned before, I work in the stem cell department, and I have a picture of the actual machine of the stem cell that we use, the stem cell machine. As you see, that's the machine that we use. And it puts the patients in remission. We have to check to see if they have good veins, and we do the central line placement if they don't. This procedure takes 3 to 4 hours, 2 to 3 days until all the desired stem cells are collected. And also, I have a picture of the stem cells. It's like a little. It looks like blood. We like for it to look like tomato sauce. That's a good indication of a good distribution of stem cells and the white cells. According to the National Cancer Institution surveillance, a blood cancer survival rate is based on the type of blood cancer, including your overall age, health, and response to treatment. Um, Stem cells can be stored for 10 to 15 years after we collect. So if a person needs more stem cells, and or if they come out of remission, we can go into storage and give them more stem cells. And again, I think we can keep it for up to like 15 years in the storage area. I personally believe in the approach of both Western medicine and holistic care. As I mentioned before, diet habits, environmental factors can contribute to certain cancers. Everything, just different things. Sometimes it's genetics. But in closing, I want to let you guys listen to Dr. Sesby. He has a cancer diet and prevention of getting certain cancers. And that's all I have for you.
All right. Let's go view this.
And thank you for you guys listening to my little tips for health and awareness. And again, it's September, so it's Blood Cancer Awareness Month. So hopefully this helps a little. Thank you.
See that? I don't know why they showing. Hmm? Okay, for some reason it won't play. Of course, you know how it go. But we appreciate Kim, First Nurse Kimberly Reese, for giving us health tips once again.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to commercial, and then without further ado, we're gonna bring our guests in, and we're gonna get to the scenes of silent superstars, and we're gonna talk about that. So we'll be back in 1 second.
And I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed that we were going to march.
Nice.
We'll stand strong. Where we belong. It's not about yourself.
First of all, serving notice on our nation. It's Dr. Frederick Douglass Reese.
We march. We march. We march. Right to march.
He said, what shall we do? I said, we are going back. He said, Yeah. And I persuaded.
Without further ado, we are here back, and as y'all can see, our guest is on now. I can't. It's probably not enough words in the dictionary to describe how many hats she has and the impact that she does locally.
Yes, sir.
If you are in the Selma community, 9 times out of 10, you have seen this lady, you know this lady. She has made a personal impact directly or indirectly. Now, hold on, let me take this down. Now, what I will say is FD Reese Day is coming up March the 21st of next year, where it's every year. And this is the lady who, if it wasn't for her,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say 10 times out of 10, we would not have a FD Reese Day in Selma. So personally, from the Reese family, we would like to say thank you personally
That's right.
for your work, because and can I say this? We ain't paying her. She did this for her heart, out of her heart, because and not only did she put forth the effort, before that she was sharing on her social media platforms. Where would we be without FD Reese? So this is it's special. She did our hearts. Besides that, she is, if you'd have probably seen her do security, you'd have seen her clean up, you'd have seen her cut grass,
Lead campaigns.
lead campaigns. She over certain codes, like it goes on and on and on. And I'll shut up. And please, at the Lineage Podcast, welcome. And Miss Hatwata McGee. Welcome,
Thank you.
Hatwata McGee, to the show. Like I said, I don't even know where to start. What let me ask you, I have to ask you this, Hatwata. What is the passion behind your drive and your love for the community?
You know, I have strong faith in God, Alan. And I just know that I just love on people. I especially the people of Selma, the citizens of Selma. I just have a lot of love, right? And you know, people, and sometimes God will place you in different assignments. And so, you know, I may be sitting down one day and God just said, go and do this and go and do that. Without a shadow of doubt, I just get up and go do it. And you know, it's just my love that keeps me going.
Okay, yeah, you was going in and out. We heard the gist of it. We heard the gist of it. Basically, you saying you have a love for the people of Selma. It's just your heart, and we know that personally. And I'll ask you this. I don't want to. First of all, we're not gonna keep you long. Let me ask you this. What are some, because honestly, we're talking about scenes of silent superstars, and yourself, you're walking in that. You are a silent superstar. You do things and you don't ask for recognition. You don't ask for praise. You do it because it needs to be done. That is parallel to the mindset of our grandfather. He really cared about the people, the cause. He wasn't searching for personal accolades or personal praise or recognition. What are the challenges? Because sometimes, and let's be honest, we deal with our people, and sometimes our people sometimes don't know what's best for them.
That's right.
So what are some of the challenges that you may face in your quest in knowing, okay, this needs to be done for the people? They may not understand it right now. But we all know that the end goal is what needs to be handled. What are some of the challenges you may face or that you have faced when going out doing the work and putting forth the effort?
One of the biggest challenges is to get the citizens to go out and vote, and to vote for a particular candidate. Because in Selma, people want to vote for the cousins and friends. And some of the people that they vote for, you know, they shouldn't be nowhere near office. On May 24th, you know, once I saw the results in that election, I couldn't stress it enough to the citizens. You know, I walked from the Selma streets to even down on the country road, Dallas County. We had really needed to make a change in our sheriff department. The assignment was missed. Even after the election, I'm still getting phone calls about different situations that if the citizens had rose up and understood the assignment in that election, you know, I was not friends with the candidate I was supporting. I did my homework on that candidate. I knew that this candidate would be a better choice for us. It was nothing about friends, none of that. But the citizens missed that assignment. And I tell them now, you're gonna suffer for the next 4 years. You really are gonna suffer. Because that is a system that is still broken to this day. It's still broken. It's been broken forever. And we had an opportunity to change that. But on 300, excuse me, I'm sorry, only 3,854 citizens saw that. That was all the votes that this particular candidate got. And the other candidate, I think he had about 5,900 votes. And some
And you
of those same problems that the citizens were having before that election, even though if we had voted the new candidate in, he wouldn't have went into January, but some of those same problems is still going on in Selma now. And so, if people go back and look at the platform, you will see the particular candidate talk. He wasn't aware of this or the changes he's going to make. There has been no changes, but yet he still holds the seat. And so the citizen of Selma really has to wake up and pay attention and not wait until it's too late. That's just not my only challenge. Other things, even what's going on now with city government, some of the things going on with city government here. It's just so hard for some of the citizens, majority of the citizens, to really understand the importance of holding people accountable, coming to the meetings, being involved. And now I'm having to just tell them the truth. You're going to suffer because you're not standing unless it really knocks on your door. And so that's one of the biggest challenges of Selma. I think Selma could have been gone on, been better, had this and that, but the citizens really got to wake up in the city of Selma and really pay attention, vet these candidates, make sure that they are looking at the candidates for the best interest for all of us and not personal gain.
She made a good point, man. Matter of fact, I went to the one of the campaign meetings for the gentleman who was running for sheriff, and I sat there and listened to him. I met him, great gentleman. But one thing that he said to me spoke volume. He's been a state trooper for a while,
Yes.
and one thing he said, he talked about mental illness, and he talked about how he wanted to change the approach of government, how they approach people with mental illness. And with our family, with mental illness rolling through our family, that really stuck home to me to say, okay, he gets it. He understands that some of these things are not just disobedient citizens. Sometimes we need to save them from their mind right now. It's a different approach that you have to go about instead of going there with a tough guy just apprehending somebody, having a conversation. And man, that really stuff. And I was really rooting for him, man. I really was.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Hawata. Now, if you want to go down the hats that is bestowed upon you, you can. But what would you say is, out of all the hats you wear, which one, or it can be a few, which one or a couple of few makes you feel the proudest?
Well, one of the things, let me say this, what make me feel the proudest, that on February the 9th of 2021, the council voted unanimously for the FD Reset. My research of FD Reset on my own, I was like, this man did a whole lot of stuff. I really can relate to it. No, I haven't done as much as he has, but just knowing everything that he's done, I'm proud of that I pushed that through. Me just being able to be amongst the citizens of Selma, being able to advocate for them, those that would allow me, those that come to me, I'm proud of that. In 2018, I started to clean up Selma even more. I've been doing cleanups in Selma, but I've had to become a citizen public works for the city of Selma, doing the big layoff and stuff here in the city of Selma. I'm proud that I was able to purchase my equipment. I'm proud that I was able to get people to understand what I was doing and come out and volunteer with me. Nobody got paid. We all did this, Monday through Sunday. different times of night, day and night. 2 o'clock in the morning, we was out there doing it. I'm proud of that. I was proud that I was able to get up, pull something together like this, purchase the equipment that we need um, to try to keep Selma clean. I named it a Clean Selma. Um, Other organizations, Bless Selma. I'm proud that I can go on my social media pages and ask for who's the oldest citizens of. Name me a citizen that you feel that is deserving of a gift of appreciation. I'm proud that I have blessed myself, that I can go out into the community and make a citizens proud. Was one of the biggest, helping getting my current mayor, James Perkin, elected, 2 years by my team. I remember the time hearing that this man would never be the mayor of the city of Selma anymore. And on October 6th of 2020, 20 some years later, James Perkin is the mayor of the city of Selma.
Right.
So I'm proud of that.
That's right. We're not gonna hold you any longer, but I will say, well, let me say this. Is there anything, if you can say one thing that you, if God was to call you home, what is one thing that you want people to, that you will stick in people's head, that you want them to remember, or some type of saying or some type of work that you would want to stick out in people's head about yourself?
I probably would quote out there.
It would go out right there. Say it one more time, Hawat.
The one thing would be, I would have to use one of FD Reed quotes. And I remember asking a lot of citizens, what is one thing that FD Reed would always say? This is the one that stuck out to me the most. He said, when you know you're right, stand.
That's a good one. That's
One of my favorite ones.
My-
Wow. Yeah.
Joe Lawrence, good.
Well, I will say, give your flowers right here. We appreciate you for standing.
That's right.
We
Thank
appreciate everything that you're doing in the community. You are really a silent superstar. But what we like to do is give people that flowers publicly. I know you're not asking for it, but we appreciate you and everything you're doing for Selma, because Selma is that's where our heart is, man, just to be honest. And you are doing great things in the community. And like I said, without you, there would be no FD Reese Day. So we are forever in debt to Miss McGee here. Is there, can you leave a social media, anything, or they want to follow you or anything of that nature?
Sure. Right now, I just tell them to they can reach me by Facebook. Right now, I'm still working on a lot of more stuff. I stay busy a lot. I'm always multitasking, got my hand in this and hand in it and doing something. It's for the best interest of the citizens. But to you and Alan, to the Reese family, I want to say thank you for letting a total stranger come in and just stand. When I did the research on FD Reese, I learned a lot about FD Reese, but I couldn't understand why it's this hero, this giant, just not being honored the way he should be honored, And so I even look at myself, and they would say that, he didn't like, you didn't have to go to that extreme. He didn't like all that. I absolutely feel him on it. I don't like that either, but I feel like if people notice what you're doing, they're still supposed to do it anyway. So I want to say thank you all.
Oh, hey, thank you. We appreciate you. Everybody on the Lineage Podcast, you're gonna be seeing a lot of her with us. Please come to Selma, visit Selma, and we'll make sure we try to get you to meet the lady behind the scenes. Yeah, I know it's going out, but we'll talk later, Hawata, and we appreciate you, and we'll see you later. Hey man, yeah, that's let me unmute. That's
Kimberly Reese for the rest of the day, I guess.
Nah, I'm finna switch it up.
Yeah,
I'm finna switch it up, man.
Yeah, I don't mind, I'm hers. It don't matter.
Hey, I ain't wanna do it while Hawata was on here.
Oh, it's all good.
You know what I'm saying? So but we finna get into it. Besides Hawata, man, one thing we might share that next week, but my brother sent me a clip of Jose Williams.
Oh yes,
Now,
sir.
when you start talking about silent superstars, let's just keep it a buck. Jose Williams don't get the credit that he deserves.
I got to say this
Go ahead,
on that
bro.
video you saw. Now
Mhm.
you saw what Jose Williams said about FD Reese.
Yes,
And
sir.
then you heard about what he said about Jesse Jackson.
Yes, sir. We might share that next week.
We're gonna share it next week.
We might share
Lord,
that
have mercy.
next
That's
week.
some meat right
It's
there,
it's
boy.
it's meat.
That's some good one. I'm gonna smoke that one.
And tell Jose Williams like you should personally come to bro.
Yeah,
Tell
Jose
him
Williams
tell him about
personally come to me and tell me, Alan, make sure your grandfather finished his book because he wasn't scared like those other. I can't say that preachers, but if you knew Jose Williams, you knew
Yeah.
what he said right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And he was straight. He was a straight shooter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. We don't have any more straight shooters like that. That's probably um a part of the movement right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Those they are gone.
Correct, man. And I think what we typically do, because if you look at because everybody, most of the people that know anything about Sell Mr. Bridge and Bloody Sunday, when the people was walking across the bridge and they got beat by the policemen on the horseback and all of that, right, with the billy clubs.
Mhm.
But they recognize John Lewis as the young man with the light brown coat on with the book bag, right?
Yes.
But it's a man standing right next to him named Jose Williams.
That's he was over the logistics.
He was over the
But
logistics.
see, bro, you can't talk too much about this conversation because it's gonna make me say what I want to say. If you won't allow me to do it, you say we gotta wait the next week. But it flows,
Go ahead. We can recap. Go ahead.
it flows right into it on why they kind of try to exile Jose Williams' legacy
Mhm.
because he won a yes. You know,
Right,
you
right,
know
right,
what I
right,
want to
right.
say. I think I get in trouble for saying that.
Right.
He wasn't that yes man. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
The terms and see, a lot of people don't realize we talk about John Lewis going across the bridge, but it was Jose Williams who was over the logistics. He was the leader he was the person on the front line of that march.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he was the teacher right there.
Correct.
Jose Williams, and John Lewis was the student right then.
Facts.
But we try to talk about John Lewis so much, and we forget Jose Williams standing right next to him.
Mm-hmm.
John Lewis talked about John Lewis so much and forgot Jose Williams was standing right.
Correct.
And
And
it's a shame. And see, and it goes
Yeah.
back to our topic today, the silent superstars.
Mhm.
See, sometimes we as black folks, our own people,
that's right.
create these silent superstars because we won't open our mouth and tell the truth.
Talk it.
And see Jesse Jackson, not just Jesse, but Jose Williams told the truth about Jesse Jackson, how Jesse Jackson lied.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at Jesse Jackson's career as far as in the public light,
Mm-hmm.
he has more celebrity,
Right.
if that's a word.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
You know, more people go to Jesse Jackson and the John
Mhm.
Lewis and all those people who had the see me and this
Mhm.
what I did kind of mentality.
Right.
But Jose Williams were the type that'll say who did what and when.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he'll tell who lied.
Right.
On TV.
Right. National TV.
I saw a clip of him today. I sent it to you. He
Right.
said it right on TV.
Mhm.
This is why I don't respect Jesse Jackson.
That's right.
This is what Jose Williams said.
Yeah.
Because he lied about being at the death of Martin Luther King and used that to create this legacy for himself
Mhm.
to make people pay attention to him.
Correct.
So because Jose Williams said that on national TV,
Mhm.
they exiled him from the movement.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying?
That's
Because
right.
he's a straight shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's right.
So and FD was a straight shooter too. And those people, they kind of get pushed to the back, but they really don't care about
Right.
the fame.
Mhm.
But we are the people that saying, no, you gonna do right by history.
Exactly. And see, they were about the cause.
That's right, bro.
They were about the cause, and that's why sometimes I feel like, and because of Granddad, I think I will be a little different now, because what like you said, what I do realize is our own folks. So because Granddaddy really didn't say anything,
Mhm.
he was all about the work. I'm talking about 100%, man. If y'all knew him personally, you know he would get something accomplished and it's on to the next.
On to the next.
He was always like that. So he wouldn't bask in the glory, sort of say.
That's right.
And so I think that hindered his national image.
And also telling Martin Luther King no.
And he told Martin Luther King no.
See, just,
Right.
just as Jose Williams said about Jesse Jackson.
Correct.
Remember, it was a time in the 60s, F.D. Reese told Martin Luther King he was wrong.
Correct.
So King could have been in his feelings. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know, and let me tell you something. I would not discredit the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr.
No, sir.
But at the same time, we tell truth.
Correct.
Truth is that the SCLC was not sending the money to Selma like they should have been
Mhm.
to take care of the people that was losing their jobs from the movement. And F.D. Reese told Martin Luther King, no, you're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're not getting the money that's coming to Dallas County Police.
Mhm. Mhm.
So the Martin Luther King and his posses,
Mhm.
like Jail Chestnut would say,
Mhm.
they were kind of in their feelings about F.D. Reese.
Correct.
So as the movement started getting national attention,
Mhm.
when people start telling the story, people start lying,
Correct.
not implementing people where they should have been implemented,
Correct.
saying they did things when they didn't do
They
things.
did.
Some of them still lie today.
Correct.
So
Correct.
and that's what we have, because that's what we do. That's what
Uh-huh.
black folks do.
Mhm.
These not white people have talking about the movement. This black
Mhm.
folks, our own people. You
Let
get
me-
what I'm saying? So that's why I
understand
get
right.
these silent people that don't get their props, because we as black people sometimes do this, bro.
That's real. Anastasia said, I appreciate her candor. She's talking about Hawata. Many individuals are using nerve to speak out on these issues, especially within their own community. That's 100%. You're 100% right. Amanda said a lot of people want I guess a lot of people want the notoriety, but don't want to put the work in.
Want to put the work.
Correct. That's
Mhm.
right, sis. Putting in work builds strength in the community.
That's right.
100% right. A lot of people don't really care about, the work. They want more. You hear the when the rappers make it, and you always got the guy that said, man, I was in the studio when he recorded that. He
Mhm.
owed me. And Nelly went through that. The guy in St. Lunatics with the mask, the
Yeah.
guy that was just on stage. He
Mhm.
tried to sue Nelly, So stuff like that happens. A lot of the times, the face of the movement does get a lot of recognition. But the thing is, it's up to the people that's getting the recognition to tell the story. And before you said it, that's and I'll be honest, if they kill us, y'all, this is documented. That's one of the problems I had with John Lewis,
Mhm.
because he would get on certain platforms and on national TV and in newspapers, and he had more of the lights, camera, action on him, because he went on and became congressman and
Because he
everything.
benefited from the movement.
He benefited from the movement. And because when he got in people's faces, he didn't mention F.D. Reese and the Million Born to the Courageous Eight and the Dallas County Voters League and all of that. He didn't
Invite
mention
his
it.
organization.
Right.
He forgot. I
He
guess
forgot.
had Alzheimer's. But let me say something, bro. I got to say this.
Mm-hmm.
What our people, our leaders that was a part of the movement, who
Mhm.
survived it,
Mm-hmm.
they did exactly what we shouldn't do as far as voting. What I mean by this
Mm-hmm.
is that they took the movement. The people did not talk about the local league people who really did the work
Mm-hmm.
when they got the national attention. So when they got up there, it was all about the national attention.
Correct, bro.
Okay, voting really, what F.D. Reese was trying to change their local. You get what I'm saying? The only reason why they had to go to the president is because the federal government had to oversee the elections, because the racist southern states would not allow us to have fair elections.
Correct.
But they wanted to change their local government.
Uh-huh.
But what the leaders did, John Lewis, now, as they began to become representatives and senators, they kidnapped the local movement and made it all about the national, the presidency.
Correct.
See, you really don't get local things done only voted in the presidency.
Right.
We will put more money in the presidency election, in the Senate election, than we'll put in our local government,
right.
government election.
When that affects you directly more.
When that affects you directly more.
Right. Right.
See, that's the same thing. It's
Uh-huh.
parallel, man.
Uh-huh.
So what we're saying, as we putting light on F.D. Reese, don't only look at F.D. Reese, look at the local movement, and
Mhm.
let's start back locally
Right.
and then swell out.
Correct.
You know what I'm
Correct.
saying?
I think what happens is, and I think They did it in a tactical way. Once they saw, wait a minute, they'll focus so much on this president, they'll forget about the local.
That's
You get
right.
what I'm saying? And so what happened is, you're right, it got too big for 'em. It gained national attention like
But
that.
think about it, bro. You go to Selma, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Them potholes are there
Yeah,
when the end of George Bush election.
there you go.
Barack Obama was president. Them potholes are
Them
there.
pothole down.
Trump was president.
Them
Them
potholes
potholes
there.
there. And
Biden
Biden, Sleepy Joe president. Them
Potholes
potholes
still
still.
there. They still there.
What has the president? You give
Mhm.
now. Don't get me wrong. Federal funding comes
Correct.
down, trickle down.
That's what I was about to say. Right.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Right.
But now, me voting in my local election, now I can have a say so
Mhm.
how those funds that have came down from the presidency.
Right. How they allocate it. Exactly. Exactly.
Hey, it's a whole game.
Uh-huh.
We just want to be
Facts.
I vote for the president.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
done.
it. Like a photo op type of thing. I'm there. Amanda said, I'd rather have the respect of my community than to sit at a table with people who don't respect us and aren't really interested in effective change. We got to stop listening and following people who aren't doing the footwork and aren't active in their own community.
That's right.
That's facts, man.
That's right, bro.
That's 100% right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
100% right, man. Man, that's 100% right. I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
We have
I'm
to, man, we have
agreeing.
to start speaking up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And start
Mhm.
like Walter said. Mr. Walter, stop voting for your cousin.
Yeah, stop voting for
cousin
Cuzzo.
ain't worth nothing.
Cuz
Your
yeah.
cousin taking all the backdoor deals. Stop voting for him when you know he ain't right
Right.
or she
Right.
ain't right.
Correct.
Your niece,
Mhm.
your kids.
Right.
Man, vote for someone who's gonna bring some type of sustainable change.
Facts.
And because what you're doing is that you're really, you think Trump tried to take away and from the mindset of people believing in the voting, but you really creating a mindset of people not really believing in voting,
Right.
because you keep voting for people who really don't have your best
You don't
interest
have your
in
best
mind.
interest. That's
They're
why.
not gonna do the job. They're gonna get in there and they're gonna forget. Just like we talk about when John Lewis and the other leaders got up in front of the
Mhm.
national stage and they came to Selma and they say, I want to thank everybody for coming. I worked hard, and I want to thank everybody else.
Right.
When you know the major players,
Mhm.
that's the same way. That's the same way the same people who we vote in do, man. They'll get our vote and they'll go in and they'll forget. I'm gonna
Mhm.
have my agenda.
Mhm.
We didn't vote for you to have your agenda.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. We selling out.
Yeah.
And it's
we
been
selling out.
proven over and over again. You want my vote? What are you doing to help our people and build the community you're trying to represent? Exactly, man. That's why we advocate for anytime we vote locally, president, nationally, what you gonna do for black people?
That's right. Ain't nothing wrong with saying it.
Ain't no wrong with saying that,
There's
man.
nothing wrong, but we passed an Asian crime bill.
Right.
We passed the Asian crime
Asian
bill.
crime bill, bro.
But all these black folk that done died, we got a civil rights bill. That's anybody can tap into the civil
Yeah,
rights.
that's silver.
My civil rights have been violated. But we ain't got no black crime bill.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
Come on, bro.
And the man said, "It's real, man. Just because you're black doesn't guarantee my black vote."
That's right.
100%.
We got a lot of slave catchers out there that still
100%, man. 100% agree with that.
Shoot.
You own one.
Hey,
You
man, look,
you
hey,
own one
I'm
today,
gonna have
man.
to say his name, Vernon Jones.
Okay.
And I met Vernon, had some great conversations with Vernon Jones.
Okay.
But Vernon Jones just he just flipped. He's going to for what is popular.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, Vernon wasn't even talking like this when I used to sit down with him in Midtown Atlanta.
Right.
When we sit at the Starbucks and have good conversations.
Right.
Now I hear Vernon Jones talk. I'm like, who is this guy? Who is this cat?
I told you I ran into Raphael Warnock. I ain't tell you that.
I'll
I'll tell you that off. Man. Yeah, I ran into
I'm
him.
like, come on, who is this?
Yeah.
And I would tell Vernon Jones, I have no issue with telling him, man, you just totally switched.
Oh, I know you ain't got no issue. I know you ain't got no issue with it. Man said, that's insane. Where's our bill? They killed a handful of people in less than a month, and the bill was passed.
That's right.
Correct. But on the cusp of George, we couldn't get on the cusp of George Floyd.
Still couldn't get a black crime.
We couldn't get a black on the cusp. You seen people mark all across this globe.
Mm-hmm.
If we couldn't get it then,
we hot and we hot commodity, bro. you know, and I want the racist white folks to come holler at me.
Yeah, they gonna come.
I want you to come holler at me, man. I'll tell you about yourself. And you know what? I don't want to have a text. I want to meet you in person.
Yeah. No. They're not gonna do that. They're not
And
gonna do that.
come down to flat shows and talk.
They not gonna do that.
Don't hide out there at Stone Mountain and say you just gonna kill black folks out at 8 o'clock. And them black folks showed up with their guns.
Right.
You went out there, man. Come sit down with me. I want to have a face-to-face with you. I'm not scared of you.
But and I think we got to get back to that since we talking about silent superstars. A lot of the people that represented us, and you know, we got our group chat, me, you, Orange Tristan, and we talk about Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. They need to get on out the way, and that's 100% real, man. It comes to a point where, like you always say, the celebrity activists are getting away. So now our silent superstars can't even. It's not even taken serious.
It's
man.
not.
It's not even taken serious.
The black community needs to have a black attire and call. We are putting people in emeritus positions. Our leaders, Al Sharpton would be in it. Jesse Jackson would be in it. And there's some more folks that'll be in. I just can't say their names right now. They would be into what we call the emeritus. You have no power. You only have the power to give me some knowledge on how you would move. But at the end of the day, you don't have any power.
You can advise me, but
because at the end of the day, the racist white institute who are wolves, who are in sheep clothing, they still continue to call them for a reason.
Yeah.
To control us.
Right.
Oh, we got Jesse Jackson.
Yeah. We good.
We good. We got Al Sharpton speaking.
We good.
We good. They'll go up there and tell the black people to calm down. We got to move like this. See, that, and that's just how it goes, bro. But if they would say, I don't speak for this generation.
Yeah, I'm tired of that. Tired of that.
Yeah, it's time to go move aside.
Yeah, step aside. Like Granddad told
him. Dying off without moving aside.
Right.
It's just like me, and I love John Lewis to death. But why would you die in your seat? Why?
Yeah. And can I be honest?
When someone young, that's vibrant, that you can see in your latter days, moving the people to in the next moving the generation on. I would rather sit back and see the fruit of my labor, saying, man, wow, look at the knowledge that I have given.
Right.
That now I'm seeing them moving on.
Correct.
That's called traction. I would not have died in that seat. We as black folks got to stop trying to be honored, feeling like we got to be honored a certain type of way when we die. Our work will speak for its own. People honor you like they need to honor you.
Sure would. You think if he wouldn't have stepped down from that seat, he still would have been honored like he did?
Yes.
Still would have been honored like he did.
Been honored. No, we got to stop doing that.
And we got to stop selling that. And I don't no disrespect to John Lewis, but did you see his area that he was over?
Gentrification. I said that a long time ago, man. I said that 15 years ago. Hey, I said that 15 years ago. 15 years ago, I said that.
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody say. All them folks out Gresham Road, them elderly people could not afford them taxes over there.
Correct.
And you know, folks had to move out their community. Come on, man.
It's still
cannot afford the taxes.
It's still going
house
on.
Is paid for, worked all them years. House paid for.
You can't afford the taxes.
They cannot afford the taxes. Well, who was the representative for that community?
Yeah.
Who is the representative of the community down Moreland?
Right.
Gresham Road. Ponce de Leon. Boulevard, where they just closed Atlanta Medical. Atlanta Medical took care of more black people, homeless, mental illness, outside of Grady. They're the best hospital Atlanta has. What area is that now?
Yeah.
Who was over that area for all those years?
Yes, sir.
You want to talk about legacy, bro? Don't get me started.
Right.
Don't get LJ. Don't get me started.
Right. I already know. You know, we talked about this off air, and that's one of the things and you know, just because and it's not. And I got to keep saying this, and I don't care if I regurgitate it so much. It's not because Granddaddy was our granddaddy. I got to say that. It's not because he was our grandfather. But if you look at the work he did, what he stood for, what he didn't go for, it's exactly what we are preaching that you should do.
That's right.
The man was all about his people. let's keep it a buck, bro. Granddaddy could have got that recognition,
and left.
moved anywhere in the nation,
And said
Took-
what he did,
said what he did, got a seat anywhere,
and would have been
Washington.
a millionaire.
would have been a millionaire.
Mhm.
But what did he do? He stayed there with his people. And let's be honest, it helped his legacy and then it hurt it.
Yeah.
Why? Because sometimes when you stay among your people,
Mhm.
now when you're still doing work, along the way, you making them mad.
You making me
Because some of the things, some of the things that you're doing, they don't agree with.
Mhm.
Even though it's best for them, they don't agree with. We got
Mhm.
some stories. The
Mhm.
B-Bag Boys
Mhm.
didn't agree with it. Some of
Mhm.
he was principal over certain students, and their parents was at odds with Granddaddy, though he was right. So
Mhm.
then what happens? Now you're overlooked nationally.
Mhm.
Now because the work that you're doing is rubbing feathers the wrong way locally.
Mhm.
So now you make some enemies.
That's right.
So now you got it on both sides. But let it be known, he could have went anywhere. And then not only did he do that, he stayed amongst the people.
That's right. I always said that. FD, the reason why a lot of people in Selma, Alabama, who had the power to really, I always say this. First of all, before I get back to that,
Yeah.
FD Reese should be in Selma where Martin Luther King is in Atlanta.
Should be.
Okay, let me say that. Now, because of his profession
Mm-hmm.
as a teacher, principal, he touched more people in the community than most people as a principal, and then as a city council member in Selma.
Yes, sir.
So then he started like you said, he started rubbing people the wrong way.
Correct.
He didn't do things that they wanted him to do. They
Correct.
knew what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Some alive, some dead.
Right.
I can't name all the names.
Right.
But so that hurt his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we come in on the back end.
Correct.
See, this is why we talk the junk we talk,
Mm-hmm.
because we got Granddad on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was right on the front end.
Correct.
You get what I'm saying? He was
100%.
right on the front end, standing in his community,
Mm-hmm.
being a good man in his community, being effective in his community,
Right.
and not saying what he did.
Right.
And so, guess what? God bless him with grandboys to come say
Right.
what he did.
What he did.
So, regardless if you tried to keep the recognition away from him, he's still gonna get it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Exactly, bro.
But it did hurt his.
It did.
hurt him in sales.
It did. Because
You know?
even when we doing our work, you know, and let's elephant in the room. Let's be honest. It's gonna be some people that's not gonna work with us
Yeah.
because of the decisions Granddaddy made. Even though he was right,
Yeah.
they're not gonna work with us, or they're not gonna connect us with the right people. And we got to go get it out the mud ourselves. But that don't matter. We'll do that.
Don't
But
care.
I'm saying that's part of the journey, and we know that. But
Mhm.
it's sad that a man like him that
Mhm.
did so much impact to so much people in that community, that you won't just say, you know what, call this person, he gonna get you there, and you
Yeah.
connect with
I
that
see what them
person.
boy doing.
I see what y'all doing.
Just people, the reason we say his community, I'm gonna just if you can, who have not been to Selma. Picture this: FD Reese, who invited Dr. Martin Luther King to Selma,
Mm-hmm.
who led the first teachers march,
Mm-hmm.
was the first black man to run for mayor in Selma,
Mm-hmm.
was one of the first black city council members in Selma,
Mm-hmm.
and he was instrumental in inviting SNCC and John Lewis group to Selma.
They wouldn't been there
A
without it.
man who let black women have maternity leave because they didn't have it in Selma.
Correct.
I can go. He integrated the doctor's office in Selma.
Correct.
He boycotted Walmart.
Yes.
And now you have Walmart all over the world, or nation, wherever they at. They got to hire blacks as general managers.
Correct.
That man right there bought a house in Selma in 1960.
Yes, sir.
Stay in the same house.
Same
all
house.
those years. You can walk from the house to the church.
To the church, he passed it for
And he
50 years.
pastored that they guess what? The church was small when he first started pastoring.
Correct.
And now he built it and they got a balcony up in there. One of the nicest churches in Selma. That man stayed in his community. So when you talk about FD Reese, he stayed 5-10 miles at the radius, did
Right.
all this for the nation.
Right.
And then people who mad at him because he probably suspended your child in school
For fighting.
for fighting. When you was alone, you don't want to give him his props
Hey,
because
man.
then not only the people in Selma, but then the people who you invited to come help,
Right.
who became millionaires, and then your professional career took off like going to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
You turned around and you got the mic. Oh man, what happened in Selma?
Right.
You cannot mention his name, but then you write a letter and say, "Look, without you, FD Reese,
In silence.
in silence,
Right.
not in public,
Not in public, in silence.
Letter, you write the letter and say, we would not be in the seats that we're in if it wasn't
For you.
FD Reese.
But don't say it public.
But don't say it public. Boy, you got to be kidding me, man. That should be a movie right there.
It is.
Come on, bro.
It's a move, and none of this, all of what he just said was facts.
Facts.
Nothing but facts.
Come on, man.
Hey, I gotta, man.
Come on, bro. Come
It's
on.
just, it's sometimes it's crazy, to say the least, man. It's crazy to me to hear all of that, man, and a man like that, and you wouldn't even known it if you knew him.
That's right.
You wouldn't even known it, man. I'm gonna be honest, that was me, bro. Me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep it 1,000. That was me, and they did me like that.
Bro. I told Granddad.
I'm going on a beef tour.
Beef tour.
Swear to God, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody finna get
Yes,
this.
we're in a different generation. Granddad was, and he was humble for a reason. But my thing is this: we got to have our history right. You know, everything got to be in order. Granddad was a man of order.
Was
See,
he?
me and my granddad used to go back and forth. My brother know.
Yeah, they used
Granddad
to.
used to look at me and just shake his head because I said, Granddad, I just wish I can just get in your body. All I need is about 24 hours.
You always
I
say
would
that.
call Fox, I would call CNN, I would call the major news networks, and I would fix this. It
Mhm.
wouldn't take long.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Because I gotta say this, and I always say this, and whenever we do a movie, I'm gonna tell them, put some of this stuff that we say in the movie. We already got the movie. We already got it in our heads how that thing gonna go. It's gonna be a box seller. Don't worry about it. But I always say this, and I say this before every tour for the people that don't believe us. If you were trying to do something big, why not go to Miami or Atlanta or Chicago or Philly, New Orleans, even LA if you wanted to go that far,
But
New York,
Detroit.
you know. Why would you go there? Why would you come to a city with only 25,000 people there? So Martin Luther King, the guy that already made the he had already made the I Have a Dream speech in 63, right? He had already did that. They already did the bus boycott, right?
56.
In 56. Now, he didn't already did that. Now, he did the I Have a Dream speech in front of how many people? Thousands.
I know, I forgot how many is
Yeah,
that.
yeah, thousands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why would he come to Selma where it was only 25,000 people?
Mm-hmm.
And the black voting rate was ridiculous.
Well, it was at that time. I want to say 320 something black.
Yeah,
people to vote.
320 some black people able to vote.
27 black people.
So I want y'all to understand, Martin Luther King traveled to Selma, Alabama, from Atlanta. You know that's a 3-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
He came to Selma. Well, he sent somebody first, then he came. Because now the only one, I correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that was born in Selma, from Selma, the leader in Selma,
Mm-hmm.
the leader of the teachers movement. I mean, of the Selma Teachers Association,
Mm-hmm.
and the leader of the Dallas County Voters League was Frederick D. Reese.
Frederick Douglass Reese.
Frederick Douglass
Senior.
Reese, Senior.
Mm-hmm.
And he officially signed the invitation to invite Dr. King to Selma. So why would you come to a city with only 25,000 people if you're trying to pass voting rights?
And guess what? A city that didn't want you there.
A city that didn't want you there. Somebody help me, because I'm not understanding. So somebody. You mean to tell me? Let's just say it's a married couple. The husband want me to come, the wife don't,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna travel 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
The husband say, send me a text. Hey, you can come through. She tripping. The wife don't want me there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to come 3 hours
Mm-hmm.
to a place that I'm not wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I do that?
FD Reese, I got you.
FD Reese said, I got you. He
got
said,
you.
don't worry, Dr. King.
And if y'all knew Granddad, that's probably something he said. I got you.
I got you. It's 2,000 people ready. It's 2,000 people with me ready when
Come on,
we
man.
say move. And so I think when people put that into perspective, because what we've been taught so long, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. I mean, if you want to talk about like civil rights, it's Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. They really didn't start teaching John Lewis until
his political career.
right. It kind of elevated him.
Yeah.
You know, if you're from Atlanta, you know.
C.T. Vivian.
Yeah, C.T. Vivian,
Vivian,
Shuttlesworth, sprinkle here and there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
but Jesse Jackson was the go-to.
right. And Jesse wasn't even
He
there
wasn't even in the Selma movement.
in the movement. Like, think about that,
Mhm.
man. So I think if you put that into perspective, I went to a small town where I was booed when this reverend got up and said, I'm going to invite Dr. King. He'll be here. And they booed him.
They booed him. And he didn't care. And nothing but hurt Granddaddy. He told some people in the Dallas County Voters League what they can.
Correct.
What people don't know is that now we have letters. Now let me tell y'all something. My brother and I don't talk about nothing we can't bag up.
Yeah. We bag all
You
this
know,
stuff.
we ain't like the United States got all this money, this paper money without no gold. You best believe we could bag up everything we
can
say.
bag all it.
Now, what we do know is some board of directors in the Dallas County Voters League, who FD Reese,
Mm-hmm.
told them about themselves because they was doing black people wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what we doing now, telling black folks, hey, you don't need to do that. That's what FD Reese is doing in Selma, Alabama.
Correct.
Telling the black folks, hey, that's wrong, and you can't do our people like that.
Correct.
And if you don't tighten up, we're gonna do the necessary things to get you out the circle.
Correct. Correct. Point blank.
Now, that's them for the archives, for the historians to come learn about this one.
Yeah, they'll see
You know
it.
what I'm saying? And then when you talk on your documentaries, you can really talk about some weight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got some weight for you. But you know, it's like I said, when we do shows like these, it's not the ones that get the most attention. You know, we got our loyal viewers and listeners on here, and that's always good.
That's all that matters,
But
man.
right, but it's needed.
It's
And see,
needed,
that's
bro.
the thing.
Care nothing about numbers.
Yeah, it's needed, man, and we gotta shed light, just not on Granddaddy, but like you said, that's why we brought Hawata on, because she really do a lot in the community.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, and we see it. Matter of fact, one time she was cleaning up, cutting grass, and
Yeah,
we
yeah,
went
that's
up
out
there.
there.
We was in town. We said we're gonna pull up,
Yeah, we did.
and we pulled up. And you know, things like that and people like that are often overlooked. And so you got to shed light on their works and show them that it's not in vain. That you know, people pay attention and it's appreciated. But yeah, silent superstars, man, are everywhere. It's just like in the music game. Like when you think of songs and you think of Irreplaceable, Beyonce didn't write that. Neo wrote it.
Mhm.
And you know, you think of Nice and Slow by Usher. Jonte Austin wrote it. And a lot of people don't know who Jonte Austin is. He wrote Nice and Slow. He
Mhm.
wrote Be Without You for Mary J. Blige. And then what happens is when they come to the light, then you'll know their work. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like what we got to do with Granddaddy. We got to bring him to the light.
Mhm.
And then they say, okay, I see the picture, the man in the hat and the kneeling picture. And he's sitting behind him in the church.
That's why the people who come to the tours are always in awe.
Right. They are
They
always in
leave
awe.
like, oh my God, I didn't know nothing.
None of it. Right. Right.
That's how they did. Now I know.
Now I know.
I
Exactly.
thought I knew.
Right.
That's exactly what they say.
Right.
I thought I knew.
Right.
Because
Right.
they said we've been seeing this man since I was a kid in these
Right.
pictures.
In these pictures.
Never knew who it was.
Right.
I had a historian who's a teacher at Morehouse College come to me and thought Granddaddy was Fred Shuttlesworth. I said, come on, man. So I thought that was Fred Shuttlesworth. I said, see, this is why we got more work to do, bro.
Right.
This is why we grind.
And what we doing, as we doing this journey, we just not talking about Granddaddy. We gonna bring light on as we do the Dallas County Voters League and the Courageous
We got
Eight.
some other folks, man.
You know
We
what I'm
got
saying?
Miss Galloway.
Right.
She coming on the show.
Yeah, we gotta get home
Talk
here.
about her father.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We just not
Mhm.
talking about FD Reese. We don't mind
No,
telling the names of people.
really don't,
You know what I'm
because
saying?
it's needed.
It's needed.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't talk about FD Reese.
Right.
Even in the tours we do. We talk about
Everybody.
JL Chestnut.
Yep.
We talk about Gildersleeve. We talk
Mhm.
about Shannon, Miss Boynton, Miss Marie Foster.
We do.
The reason we bring up Miss Marie Foster because Miss Marie Foster stood flat-footed and told the truth when my grandfather was indicted.
Mm-hmm.
That's a courageous woman.
Correct.
But you remember, the modern day woman thought she weak.
Come on, bro.
Hey, we gonna go there.
We ain't gonna go there. That's another
But she
show.
was a courageous woman.
Right.
We talk about
And
that.
she
We
is
teach that.
silent superstar, man.
Silent superstars, man.
And that's it. That's what it is. So we're gonna keep bringing light to it, y'all. We appreciate y'all joining us this Thursday. Next week, I don't know what we got some.
We got let me tell you what we got coming on.
Go
next
ahead,
week.
bro.
We got the owner of On Time Fashion.
Oh, yes, sir.
Let me tell you.
Go ahead.
If you from Atlanta, y'all know D and K. You know D and K and K and G.
Right.
In Selma, we know On Time Fashion.
Yeah.
So we got the owners of On Time Fashion coming on, man. He gonna talk about On Time Fashion, just talk about FD.
Yeah.
Everybody got an FD restore, even business owners in Selma. So you know.
And when we was little, we get our suits from there. We go to Selma. He always gave grand. So what you, Dr. Reese, whatever Dr. Reese wanted, you pretty much got it. And granddad, he didn't like to take handouts, man.
Yeah.
Just to be honest, he gonna pay for everything. You know, you got to tell granddad no. You
That's
really
right.
do. He might overpay you. You know, Reverend Dr. Reese nodded, and he ain't trying to listen. So, yeah, On Time Fashion, man, and I think they got another location in Birmingham now too.
That's
right?
right. Tuscaloosa.
Tuscaloosa, okay.
Yeah, man. Roll Tide.
Yeah. So we're gonna have him on, and he got some Dr. Reese stores, so that's gonna be good. But we can go all year with people that granddad has impacted, y'all. I promise you.
That's true.
We can go every week all year, literally.
That's right.
And we still probably can have more.
We are, man. We're gonna keep bringing them on. Look, we're gonna have a black professional entrepreneur. It don't matter. That's gonna be on our show every week. We're gonna share light on them. We're gonna give them a stage to tell the people what they do, you know, what they offer.
And if y'all know,
okay.
yeah, and if y'all know people, man, let us know. If you want to show some light on their business, and you know they are trying, and we really like to focus on black owned business and things of that nature. Let us know. We'll slide them on the calendar. Believe that. So this show is to show impact and show praise and give flowers to our silent superstars who get overlooked. And shout out to grandma. Let me say that. Shout out to
grandma.
Shout out to Miss.
Mama, I know you watching.
Yeah, to Miss Eileen C. Reese. You know she watching.
Old.
Grandma 91, and I saw her a few days ago, and she said she proud of us and she appreciate us.
And you know what?
Doing this, man.
When grandma watched the show,
and
she calls me and she says, "Keep doing what you're doing." That's all I got to hear.
That's it. So I got to hear.
So
I gotta hear. Cause grandma's silent superstar. We might just put light on grandma.
Yeah.
Y'all don't. Hey man, listen. Y'all don't know. Teacher. Y'all don't know, man.
Wisdom, man.
We can probably have people come on the show for 2-3 hours and talk about grandma.
That's right.
And she don't look for no recognition. None of that, man. That's why it's always good to have a good woman.
The crazy thing about grandma, man, I must say this, when we was filming, we understand that no one lives forever. And we understand our grandmother is 91.
Right.
So when we start doing the documentary and trying to film shots, we film a grandmother. And man, just to sit there and listen to the wisdom and the strength.
Right.
And we would ask her questions during the interview.
Right.
What are you worried about? Granddad, when he was going out there and doing what he was doing. No. I knew that God had us, and whatever God told Frederick to do, he was gonna go out there and do it. And I made sure I took care of the home.
I swear, listen, I promise you. And she said it. It wasn't no worry, no fear, no tremble in her voice. She said that was her answer for about 5 or 6 questions. Yeah. And then I was just like, it don't come like this no more, man.
What they do as a young person, it makes you seek that strength.
Right.
See, that's the thing. when you're around that wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing that went to my mind, I got to get there.
Right. Because
I got to get
and
there.
she said it so calmly. No, I knew God.
Mhm.
I knew God would protect us, and He gave Frederick a vision, and I
And I
took care of
supported him.
home. I supported Fred, and he went out there, and I'm like, good. Do you know listen? The women today. Do you know how worried y'all would be? Because I want y'all to understand something.
Environment.
Granddaddy, I gotta say this before we leave. When I say granddaddy didn't care about ruffling no feathers,
He didn't care.
he didn't care. So imagine the climate of that. Now you're talking about in the 60s. Now, mind you, I want y'all to understand this. He was one of the main orchestrators in getting the voting rights passed. Everybody else left. He stayed.
He had to stay himself and still be a leader.
and still be a leader and live among them. So they threw, when they changed Martin Luther King from Sylvan Street to Martin Luther King, they threw the sign on the front porch.
They bombed his house.
They bombed his house. So things of that nature was going on once Martin Luther King left Selma, and John Lewis and Abernathy and all of them. After the front line, we celebrating on March 21st, 1965. Rosa Parks was there, and Ralph Bunche and all of them. When all the hoopla and the cameras and lights
Mhm.
are gone, he has to stay there and dwell among the people. So not only, he gets some praise, but then he got enemies.
That's right.
He got enemies, and he got to stay among them. So then he still went member of the city council. So he was going to the city council meetings. I remember Daddy said he thought one day when they got in that car and Granddaddy crunked that car up, it was going to blow up. Why? Because Granddaddy was still going forward and still thinking about black people. When them people used to come in and open business, his first question was, how many black people you going to hire? So imagine how many enemies he was making then, y'all.
That's right.
Imagine that. And Grandma sit there and calmly said, I just knew God was gonna protect us, and Frederick, he knew what he wanted to do, and God had us, and I just let him go out, and I took care of the home.
Boy, that's some wisdom.
And I'm sitting here like,
Got to have it. Gotta have it, man. Hey,
I
man,
don't know.
It's a recording, man. I'm gonna share. It is the last recording of my grandfather live that I have in my phone.
Mhm.
And I was asking him a few questions, man. I said, Granddad, what was you doing, as a leader? What what was your main objective when you left out the house? He said, my main objective was to go tell them white folks about themselves. He said, I was the leader.
Right.
He said, I wasn't looking around. They were looking at me. He said, I had to lead.
Right.
I was the leader.
Right.
He said, I wasn't looking left and right who coming with me.
Right.
I went on and they followed me.
Right.
I said, God.
It's crazy, man. And they have a personal relationship, man. With somebody like the granddad and grandma, man. With that couple, man. You see the generations they impacted, man.
Yeah, man.
It's mind blowing.
That's why we got that. I don't care.
Yeah.
Think about it, bro. 2017.
Correct.
We started the foundation. 5 years we've been talking to John. We don't care.
We don't care.
Some people give up. Like,
right.
They ain't listening.
Don't care.
Somebody gonna listen.
Right.
And we're gonna keep standing for what is right.
That's right, man.
We're gonna keep standing saying black folks, it's okay to say we need things for black people.
For
Correct. Descendants of slaves.
Correct,
black
bro.
Folks were slaves in America for 243, 44 years.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Crow was 50-some years.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about reparation.
Mm-hmm.
See, Granddaddy and them, what people got to understand, they thought that what Granddaddy and them did with the voting rights, that was the finish line. Nah. Homie, that was the beginning.
That was the beginning. Yes, sir.
But see, what black folks did, I be wanting to say that word, but I can't say it. But what black folks did who got voted in, they went up there and they forgot.
That's right.
They forgot that we was just beginning.
Right.
Because what Granddaddy understood when he looked around at Black Wall Street and different communities that were black driven, we didn't have no type of government or nothing to protect us.
Correct.
That's why they kept burning it down.
That's right.
Racist white folks, man,
right?
It's strong. They burn it down. So Oklahoma, segregated. I agree with that community. They burned it down as soon as they got an opportunity. They saw black folks flourishing. Off a lie, they didn't want to burn it down, but that lie gave them a reason to. So they understood. Okay, what is another way that we can do things? Hey, let's go into the institute.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's right.
Black folks, they get in there, they get comfortable.
And they got
They become millionaires. They get their little cars. They get to fly for free. They do this. They do
Mhm.
that. They get to rub shoulders with what they feel like prestigious people,
Mhm.
and they forget about what's going on in the community.
that's facts, man.
Because
fact.
FD recently was just starting. That wasn't the finished tape.
Yeah, that was the genesis of
Starting
it.
line. That
Right.
was Genesis, bro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We forgot.
Yeah,
That was Genesis.
we gonna get back to it, man. I got hope in our people. We just got to get on one accord, and we got to be selfish. So when you go vote now, let's be selfish. When you ask these candidates,
Right.
be selfish, man. That's the word we gotta have. That's the word we gotta be selfish.
Man, and I would say this: go to the polls. But if you don't want to vote, write something in.
Right.
It's a way to let your voice be heard.
Mm-hmm.
I write it in. I ain't vote for everybody.
You go right in. What you gonna do for black people?
Yeah.
Or like you did, the
Black crime
crime
bill.
bill. Yeah.
And some of the judges I knew
Mm-hmm.
personally met.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't vote
Right.
because I need you to know that I'm voting for something. I'm
Mhm.
not just voting because I know you.
Right.
I need for you to use your profession
Mm-hmm.
and the seat that Black folks has given you
Correct.
to help Black folks.
Correct.
Simple as that, bro.
We gonna get out of here. We appreciate y'all rocking with us.
Good show, man.
It's a good show. We'll see y'all next week. Now, listen, if you got silent superstars, if you want to be a guest on the podcast, if you want to give us topics that you want to hear us talk about, feel free to send it in, man. We'll definitely talk about it. If you want to be anonymous or you want your name out there, just let us know. We'll definitely talk about it. So until then, we'll see y'all. We're gonna, like I said, y'all, before I go, we're gonna beef up these. We're gonna start reaching out to people. Y'all subscribe, hit notification bell. We're gonna have some stuff coming up for the people that's subscribed to us. So y'all make sure y'all look out for it.
And if you believe in what we're doing, man, subscribe.
Yeah, that's it.
If you believe in what we're doing,
Just hit the button. It take 1
what
second.
we doing, subscribe. If you don't subscribe, continue to learn.
Yeah, yeah,
So that
yeah.
means everyone should subscribe.
Yeah, no biggie. All right, we'll see y'all next week.